Howdy, my friends and family. It's me, your dark, burnt unicorn boy man, and I'm here visiting a very sacred place. And today's video talk is about why it is essential to visit places that awaken memories of the original version, the original plan. There's free will on Earth once again. Now, don't those birds sound nice after all my gadgetry? This is a video on why you should visit sacred places. On this hijacked planet, on this hijacked plane net, it is easy to gloss over the surface or even dig deep into the devil's details around plans and never have a clue about the bigger and biggest possible picture. This video is a response to, those such as Howdy Mikowski and the one that calls himself Benedictine the Truth YouTube channels. Their belief that this is a hell realm. Well, this is a response to hell realm theory in general. Okay, well, if Earth is a hell realm, what you need to do is visit sacred places so that you can remember. So that you can remember how it was and how it will be. Dream big, dreamers. Sure, to the person who calls himself Benedictine the Truth, this place might be a hell realm because maybe Soweto is a little hell. He lives in a place that was started for the melanin-rich, black, dark-skinned South African slaves. That's right, they didn't just import slaves to the USA? No. And other countries? No. No, and right there in the same continent there, South Africa, where he lives. So, just like the blood on the land in Santa Cruz, if I say the word Christ, people will get weirded out or offended often. So, energetically, psychologically, a place like that has that kind of history, especially because he's a dark-skinned guy, so to him, this place might be a hell realm, For Howdy Mikowski, there is no attempting to fix the world, Well, they're in this sense, they are both dead set against reproduction. Why would they want to torture a soul in hell, So when you think about it, that makes them useful for the Dark Lords because zooming out, I feel it is a very healthy exercise to imagine what this sphere was like before the Anunnaki got here. What was it like here? What will it be like here after they no longer force us to be their slaves? What did the original Christos human race behave like? What did we act like before, the divine Namulu Christos original human race? What was our behavior like? I think the main flaw is we were ignorant and we were, gullible, naive, inexperienced, and very loving. No, that's not a flaw, but the other things I said. So, since the successful takeover of everything by privatizing, or most of everything, by privatizing humanoid half-breeds, their minions, and the obedient masses, following like Hollywood lemmings, psychologically speaking, following their inversion into the mortal gauge, most of this place, it seems, has been gobbled up by the capitalists with the helite globalists egging them on to encroach further, particularly these Western, really sexy, beautiful, Coldwater Paradise Promised Lands, or in this case, a little hot spring Paradise Promised Lands, where they have to drive the rent up, the manifest destiny has to drive the rent up, real high, higher and higher. The manifest destiny of Agenda 2030. So on the other hand, there comes a moment in every truly awakening soul's growth that she feels an urge, a calling. We used to have a right-of-way passage, It used to be when you were like around 15 years old, you'd often be encouraged by your relatives, if you were from certain native tribes, to they'd give you a handful of peyote and a blanket and maybe a jug of water, and encourage you to come to some spot like this that was sacred, that was maybe further out than this, because this is where a lot of people come to go to hot spring, but it's just, someplace out in nature, maybe between here and the town, like miles between them and anything, at least a few miles, and where they can get a vision on what they're going to do, and it's a rite of passage. And so, of course, since the Hollywood Illuminati, and the Dark Lords designed the mainstream media, they kind of try to get rid of those kind of passages for the mainstream. So, but we used to have a rite of passage, and it is now it's up to us. Now we have to, whatever your biological age, or it's up to you to answer that calling, the call to go on what's called a vision quest, or if you need to, or what Aboriginals call a walkabout. For me to completely heal, I'm probably going to have to do this a lot more. It's just a part of the path, Even if you simply need to escape the rat race and you are conservative, visit a small country town. Better yet, go on a hike. Because even if you're a nerd, if you go to a small town, it'll help to relax you. In nature, or go to a concert. Go to see your favorite artist where people aren't too lewd, and if you can, and where you will be dancing. If you're open to it, if you like to dance, then that's one way to do it. I mean, the whole point of this is that when you're in a concert, even though you paid money to get in there, it's kind of a trick in the system with its own trick. Then you're free to move around. See, do I need to do some cloud bursting for myself here a little bit? And I can hold it off for a little while, but they've already announced it. When they announce it, that means it's going to happen. And I hear the plane right as I speak. I wonder if the microphone picks that up. So yeah, when you're at your favorite artist and having the time of your life, dancing to some music, live music, when you're in nature and collective creative events, we remember what's called the numinous. There's your vocabulary word for the video. The numinous. I think it's when you experience the oneness in a collective event. It's a very Aquarian word. It's when you experience oneness amongst others in the groups, but maybe like a massive amount of people or a massive amount of people experience this, or you experience, when you swim in the ocean, for example, you could feel the numinous if you see a flock of birds. Hundreds of birds at once or whatever, or if you just feel you're swimming with hundreds of fish. And so in collective creative events, we remember the numinous. We're shocked back into memory of the greater self. We remember, and this is where the cults and all the killers throughout history that organized so well, this is where this is where the dark ETs have mastered. They knew that if they could control the groups, then they could, run the war, keep the wars going, and so forth. Whereas when we come together in peace, like in this, my intention here with this broadcast is that we coming together in healing and peace, then it can help to maybe give a couple folks a shock back into the memory of the greater self. That is, is not just necessarily monetary based, the shared reality. Okay? When visiting a town where nobody pays rent, such as Slab City, California, oh man, I wasn't focused on the cloud bursting enough. I'm going to have to put on a t-shirt. There's just too many of them, man. It's a wall. They've already built the wall up too far. I can't. But I will say, I'll never give up. But what I will say is that if I had, say, 20 people that were heavily telepathic and psychic, powerfully talented people sitting here with me by my tent, then we could, take all that. Oh, you can't see it from there. You can't see it from there, but yeah, it's a shame that they allow them to do that to the sky. Don't you know that shit has to go? They made it illegal in Tennessee and New Hampshire, and maybe I should petition Mr. T and Bobby Kennedy to make it illegal in the whole freaking country. It's a shame that geoengineering is not put into a grave. Can't you see? I don't need that shit. Or my little hot spring vacation spot here. And you will definitely encounter the expected negatives. A lot of alcohol, maybe drugs. Come here at night or the evening time and everyone's got a beer. You know, you got to be cool with that, or you know what I mean? You're not going to like it. Rude rednecks on occasion, once in a while. Not too often, but once in a while. You know. And a drunken gang of Hispanic guys, but they're chilling. They're chilling. I'm just saying you gotta understand or understand all three. That when you're in a public space that's free, there are no rules except take care and respect. Because and don't cross the boundary, don't do anything to harm anyone else. You know, the non-aggression principle, because that is the law of free will, is you're not actually allowed. If you're in a space where it's free, I mean, unless someone is actually invading your space or harming you, doing something to harm you, you're not actually allowed to harm someone else if everyone's obeying the real rule of nature, the law of consent. Okay? So it's the opposite of the Babylon Matrix. So, but you're going to have to deal with the elements of freedom in nature, which might include predators and everything like that. On this planet, it's definitely going to include predators when you're in a public space, okay? But the thing is, a place that will meet your need for a hot bath in a mountain nature paradise for free is not a part of the hell realm, prison planet, loose farm, extraction matrix. So you might not like how the people behave, and sometimes you might actually think, wow, these people are geniuses, like I'm in love with this girl or woman, or this person is a brilliant, amazing genius, artist, or whatever. Like, you'll think that, but you'll have all these people, well, 99.99% of them, or maybe just 90% of them will be paying rent and all that, but when they come here, they don't have to. When they come here, they don't have to be on the clock. They leave, in other words, they leave the... You see, I've always thought that the first piece of the Matrix, the Hell Realm, loose farm, that when they tried to get rid, besides actual physical slavery, was the clock, the Big Ben, and so then... when people are going to escape my mind cosmology, my mind birthday sign, the white planetary world bridger says I'm guided by the power of timelessness. So when I can bring you, anyone who can watch my whole video or half of it, if you can go into these, Henry Miller-esque or modern Henry Miller-esque kind of dialogues where I wrote all my thoughts out here and read it out to you, then maybe you truly are open-minded. But again, I always say that this planet was repurposed by the fake divine, who are very talented artists of black magic, mind control, deception, and they're invisible, and they stay invisible because they don't want you to see their ugly face, because you'd be terrified and you wouldn't obey them, instead of doing exactly what they want if you can't see them. See? So, whereas the actual original creator, Christ Sophia, is right in your heart, always there ready to help you. But she's in your heart. She's not going to, if you pray, P-R-E-Y, to the Anunnaki God, it's not going to help you to get close. But if you actually meditate, or you can feel her presence, the Christ, the wisdom, the divine gnosis, the real creator in your heart, then you can proceed. As an awakened being, you would proceed from that place. You don't proceed from your stupid fucking little pathetic narcissist ego trip. you proceed from, when you make a decision, you don't go, but it's like, what does your heart say? Because it has, as I've said before, over 10,000 times the electromagnetic powers of your brain, the signal frequency powers. And then, of course, as I've said before also, they found neurons in your heart and your gut. So you have 3 brains. And I believe Sonia Testerman is correct when she says that you have to attune all 3 of your brains before you make a proper decision. If you want to do the best you can to make the proper decision. Sounds right. So, but the thing of it is that they couldn't enslave the whole entire planet. So a free hot spring is a place that's not enslaved. So, say Benedictine the Truth has never been to a place like that, or, I don't know. In Slab City, as I said, they call themselves the last free town in America. And they say, well, you have to obey all the person who stand in for the mayor, or the mayor figure. I forgot what they call it. She stayed in a treehouse there for like 10 years before she became a mayor, but she said you got to obey all the same rules and laws as you do on the rest of California, except no one has to pay rent. And you can build whatever, they give you a certain amount of space, and you can build whatever house kind of thing you want. It was an abandoned Air Force base. That's why it's called Slab City. And but there's tweakers and drunks and thieves, and so. But if you leave your stuff for over 3 months, the law of Slab City is if you leave your stuff over 3 months, they'll take your shit and somebody else can build there or whatever. So that's the only rule. And if you were doing something bad, so it's So a place like where I'm sitting now is not a part of the Hell Realm, Prison Planet, Loose Farm, Extraction Matrix. In slabs, they have slab justice. In the, so like I said, if you were a pedophile, or if you were into heavy theft, or I don't even know whether it would have to be petty or heavy. But they might get out the shotgun and just shoot you because that's their way they deal with it. They don't have sheriffs. They don't have cops there. And so there's slabs justice. In the real original version of Earth, we were granted free will by Christ Sophia. Before the loose extraction human farm, we could choose. I'm sure that, again, the Anunnaki, the dark ETs gave us all this great technology, and it appears and seems that we have it so much easier right now, but not really, not psychologically, not spiritually. It appears that before the loose extraction human farm, we could choose where to live and how to survive. We'd have to figure out how to survive, but then maybe some people could specialize. And sure, it must have been technically a lot harder without all of these gadgets, but maybe not, as we were truly telepathic. I mean, I see a vision, I've seen pictures of this, and I thought that was true, that a long time ago, before the Anunnaki, and they would have these huge bonfires, and humans would sleep. We would sleep with our heads next to the fire, so that that would just, no one would die of cold. You'd think it would be harder with all these gadgets, but not if you're enlightened, or not if you're psychic. But maybe not, as we were truly telepathic back then, before the Anu got here, and we knew unequivocally we were all one. We really knew. We, just like the Aboriginals, we have one, that the Anunnaki, in my opinion, they brought this extra chromosome that make us, the whitey elitist, the narcissist, the alien, the abstract thinking, the mathematical genius, but the spiritual and emotional retardation, because that's how they were. And so they brought it to us, and genetically, and that's why the Aboriginals in that book, and they call us the mutants, because they never lost oneness consciousness. My friend that hung out with them in Australia said they could go off into a trance, stare off into dream time, basically remote view, no problem, like with no effort, just like, because they haven't, that's why they're driven to alcoholism and stuff if they move to the city, because in the city it's just, a person that sensitive is not going to really be able to know how to deal with it, you know what I mean? But like in the country, they could do all kinds of, things telepathically, so, without the interference. So, we knew we'd have to tolerate whatever views others had and not instantly want to kill them over it. Like the mainstream media or, say, any Illuminati type person is going to try to encourage you to do. Obviously, the L gave us that sick idea. We knew we'd have to get along somehow. And I finally got a wonderful bath by myself in the hot spring yesterday morning. I wrote these notes at the library yesterday, and I was in my bath there, and it struck me. This is what awakening and souled Christed humans need in their remembering of the Christ inside. If they haven't done this already, is visit places like a free wild hot spring, and people, if you can, that awakens memories in you of how this place was before, especially getting a hot bath for free because of the goodness of nature and the people that maintain the thing, that the community around here that takes care of it, and it reminds you of how it was before and in the future after human slavery has been fully abolished. It will be like this. We will remember somehow. We must share the resource and get along. The land there's only so much land on this planet. Spiritually, we're immense, boundless, but we won't mutilate or chop off other organs of our own body in a vampire Ouroboros like the Khazarians obediently have for millennium, since these beings taught them to do this shit. Extraction methods. We will work and play in harmony and get along together in peace. That's my vision. Eventually, when we remember how respectful and decent humans are in an anarchist place, remember the necessity of natural law. We will get acquainted with the real world outside of hell. Peace is the real ruler, not the archons. When I say an anarchist place, what do I mean? Well, there used to be a thing called Hippie Dip in downtown GSC here. And, a guy rebuilt the hot springs there into a intricate thing with a bunch of different temperature baths and beautiful golf course or whatever, and then they paved over it. So I don't know what it was like then, but so this is the last hot spring in this region that's not, or near this town that's not controlled, but you got to go for miles out to get to it. Fairly close to this town that's not controlled by, where you have to pay a paywall rent. So, there's definitely activists and there's caretakers. I know the man who takes care of it, and they intend to keep it wild and free, but they take care of the trash. They make sure that it's, people take care of, make sure that, nothing bad happens here except people drink alcohol. But once again, it's not I don't really like that. So I kind of, when I thought of the idea for this video, like I say, it was I was thankful they let me get the private morning bath again, and the idea came in right then. Is that I need to share. I made the video. I recorded the video with myself in it. If you want to watch that, I'll put a link to. But the thing is that, yeah, I'll put the link to that at the end. But the thing is that when you do so, even just to walk in nature, especially if you did it barefoot, earthing, you remember yourself outside of the matrix, and this is very important. And you notice that the people are not, or most of the time, or oftentimes, are good natured and not evil and shitty. Or at least, it's not as bad as you think in the Matrix. The real world outside of hell, humans are way different. Peace is the real ruler, not the archons. Go beyond the paywalls of the Matrix. Exercise in nature. Visit a beach. Go swimming in the warm ocean if you were lucky enough to be near it. Now that's your numinous experience again, like I say. And when you're there, if you can meditate while you're in the ocean, I love to do that. Do some Tai Chi in the ocean. It's really healing. And so then, because you know why? Because you're connecting with your real self outside of you realize that you're not just this thing. The ocean itself is cleansing you because it is you. Your body, the reason why we have to eat salt is because our body is made of salt water. Our blood. So it's interesting. So similar mineral content because we're all made of the same stuff as the ocean. We're little mini oceans. We're little mini sunshines. We're little, mini Jupiters and some of us are little mini Plutos, wrecking balls. But when you visit a beach, when you go swimming in the warm ocean, when you're in the ether and the warm water are the element. Ether and warm water are the elements of Ophiuchus, the triune unifier. Allow natural hot or warm water, cold water, and sunshine to remind you of an era way before and after time and slavery are finished. The great timeless now. The place that never left you needy. The place that never said, you have to give me your energy and let me suck you dry for your survival. The place that gave you life freely in a hologram that was totally open-hearted and sharing and pure and loving. Allow natural hot or warm water, cold water, and sunshine to remind you of an era before and after time and slavery are finished. The great timeless now. A few moments, hours, or days of experiencing it are highly possible, even in a normal life, when you visit places that reawaken moments of joy, peace, truth, and freedom of the original human experiment. Can you feel that? If you haven't already, make sure to click on the thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know when I start doing premieres here pretty soon. And of course, if you have the courage, have at least a taste of freedom. Have at least of a taste of what this beautiful planet was like before the fucking Matrix was ever built. Even for 10-15 minutes a week, you will see your health improve. Even 20 minutes a week, you will see your health improve quite a bit. It's funny, but you just have to put yourself in a different frame, and it can tremendously help you to heal. And of course, as I say, if you have the courage, create a great one, my family. Loving you.